Alright, what is up? What is going on? My name is Ari, the Healing Empress, aka the Fly Goddess. Alright, let's see what's going on in your energy when it comes to love. Alright, let's see here. Excuse me. Alright, Sacred Union is here. So something is getting ready to come together when it comes to a relationship. Alright, this could have been somebody from the past, or something wasn't right when you knew this person. 22 is here. Alright, making some sort of decision. Alright, finances could have been getting in the way of a relationship in the past. Alright. There's some sort of blessing coming your way. Alright, health is here. Somebody wants to heal something. Alright, there's some blunt conversation coming towards you. Alright, this person could be spiritual as well. Alright, true love is here. Alright, this person could be a spiritual being as well. Alright, 1:33 on the clock. Spirit is definitely guiding you through a situation. Alright, 7. Alright, luck. There's some sort of lucky turn of event getting ready to happen for you that you are not seeing. Alright, you could be in your head about something, but something is becoming very clear. Alright, something is becoming clear. Alright, unexpected money is here again. Something about receiving some sort of unexpected money on this journey and blunt conversation. Alright, tell me about this love. Alright, I'm hearing this is something that you're going to take a risk with. Alright, that you're going to make a decision to. Alright, this is courtship is here. Alright, somebody could be watching you, or you could be watching somebody. Alright, there's some sort of communication coming around, some sort of celebration, or you coming together with somebody. Retreat is significant. You could be going somewhere with someone. Alright, retreat came out again. Alright, so it could be some sort of nice time getting ready to happen. New love is here. Alright, you could be taking, not controlling the situation. Letting everything happen naturally is what I'm hearing. Alright, yeah, you calling me your soulmate. Alright, you're doing it naturally by healing yourself. Alright, working on yourself. Alright, and it's calling things into you. Alright, divine time and leaving and traveling. Alright, and marriage is here. Alright, so you may be relocating and finding somebody, or somebody may be relocating towards you. Alright, or you could be relocating with this person. Alright, gift is here. And 2 of hearts. Alright, so equal give and take, well, whoever this is. Alright, equal give and take, whoever this is. Alright, yeah, something's turning in your favor, but again, there is blunt conversation that's getting ready to happen. Let's see. Let's see. Alright, twin flame is here. Alright, so you and this person could be marrying each other at this time. Alright, unconditional love is here. Spirit is asking you to take a leap of faith in this situation. Alright, remember to hold your boundaries. Remember to hold on to your boundaries. Remember to hold on to your boundaries. Alright, balance is here. Alright, there's a need to be a healthy balance, or physical, emotional, and spiritual intimacy for this relationship to be sustainable. Alright, in past lives. Alright, you could have known this person before, or it's a soulmate from a past lifetime. Alright, but this is an unbreakable love. Alright, this person has genuine love for you. You can overcome any issues that may arise, difficulties here. Alright, jealousy from others may serve as an obstacle. Alright, but again, this is unbreakable love. Ain't shit getting in the way. Alright, Spirit is saying free yourself. You don't need to be in control of everything for a love relationship to be successful. Alright, just let it happen. Alright, just let it happen. Alright, Spirit. Alright, soulmate. Whoever this is your soulmate. Yes, this is your person. Your connection is sacred. Alright, the first card that came out was a sacred union. Alright, and the sacred union talks about a spiritual aligned connection. Alright, this can represent a commitment, a divine partnership, marriage, energy or a bond that carries a deep meaning, all right? Remember, don't lose yourself. Try to keep a connection together. Sacred love should not require self-abandonment. All right, I am worthy of balance and sacred love. All right, never abandon yourself for somebody else. All right, nothing has gone wrong in this situation. All right, Spirit is definitely bringing something when it comes to reconciliation and unconditional love. When it comes to this person, true love. Spirit is saying keep the door open. All right, so you do have love coming your way. I want to pull a few more cards here. Fire sign could be significant. Vacation is here. Something is ending. All right, somebody was a liar in a love spell and pregnancy. All right, somebody. It could have been somebody's. I don't know. Somebody was lying about pregnancy day and night. It could have been somebody in your past. All right, somebody was a liar in the past, or somebody tried to keep you using a child. Commitment is here. Distance. You had to distance yourself from this person. All right, so you had to learn lessons when it comes to relationships. All right, you have to leave people behind. All right, with toxic ways and toxic traits is what I'm hearing. All right, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces is here. All right, pet, gambling. All right, so something is definitely getting ready to go in your favor. Pregnancy is also here, all right? So be careful. All right, it's definitely in the air and coming out all of the readings, all right? Vacation is here, so somebody might get pregnant on vacation, whatever that means to you. All right, and that was your love update. If you have any questions, please let me know.